Yeah, well, folks, seems to be a recurring theme with my technology, and that is it seems to freeze semi-frequently. Which happened, I was recording a video, this video rather, and it just froze on me. And so so what I want to talk about is since I seem to have a habit of ticking people off, and in the last video I made a 10-minute video on the what I call the absurdity of atheism, and as I was mentioning in the previous or this video before it froze, is that I was almost the video, that 10-minute video that I made about the absurdity of atheism had nearly 800 views, and I just posted it. It's only been up online for a day. I was quite surprised that it cut 800 views, but perhaps I shouldn't be. I don't know. And I'm going to probably continue to. I'm not going to. I'm going to continue to tick off more people, and I'm not making this video or the previous one with the intent of it. That's just the effect that it has. My intent is to. I'm a truth speaker, and telling the truth this day and age tends to tick people off. So atheism is absurd, and I make no apologies for saying that. And continuing on the absurd things that people believe, evolution is also absurd. Now, I was having a conversation with a young man on Twitter yesterday, and I can't remember which animals he was saying were, but he was saying that at one point in the evolutionary species, a land animal had become a sea creature. Now, that's not science, that's science fiction. Now, it crossed my mind that in order for one creature to become another, it would need new information, which is true. You would any animal to become another animal would need new information in their genetic makeup. There's no denying that, and if you do that, then well, that's just fighting science. So continue this thought process. For one creature to become another, you would need new information. Now the question is, how would a land animal get that new information to become a different species altogether? And the answer to that question is it wouldn't. Now, and the reason we know that is if you look at the natural world, everything, well, look at that. Just as the Bible says, produces after its own kind. So it means you can get different kinds of the same kind, but for example, if you get two dogs that are a different breed, you can get a different color or maybe size of a dog. But a dog is always going to produce a dog. Human's always going to produce a human. Bird's always going to produce a bird. An elephant's always going to produce an elephant, and so on and so forth. You get the idea. So the notion that a land animal can become a sea creature is, again, science fiction. It's not scientists. It's the antithesis of science, which means like the enemy of science. And this is what makes evolution so logically absurd. So I want to say again, science is that which can be seen or observed, tested, and repeated. No one's ever observed biological evolution. No one's ever seen or observed any species become another species, which means we can't test for it, and it can't be repeated. So it's insane to think that a land animal can become a sea creature. Again, that's not science. That's science fiction. It's never happened. It has never happened. It isn't happening, and it will not happen. So, and it boggles my mind that people can believe this nonsense. Because that's what it is. It's nonsense. It's nonsense to think that a land animal can become a sea creature, because again, in order for one animal to become something different, it would have to have new information in its genetic makeup, and that just doesn't happen. Like humans will not produce different species. Animals will always produce, animals. Dog will always produce a dog. A cat produces a cat. Kangaroo will always produce a kangaroo, and so on and so forth. You get the idea. But there's never been a time in history where a species has become another species. Because again, in order for that to happen, it would need new information in its genetic makeup, and there's just no evidence of that ever happening. And mutation, which is what I guess evolution would probably argue for, mutation in the natural world has never ever had a positive benefit to it. And in the history of the world, mutations have only ever had a negative benefit. So not a negative benefit. That's a contradiction. But a mutation has always been negative for any creature that has ever experienced one. So it's just the way it is. So again, there's no evidence of a species ever becoming another species, and again, in order for that to happen, it would obviously have to have new information. But there's no way of a creature getting new information to become another creature. And again, no one's ever observed it, so it's by definition not scientific, because again, science deals with that which can be observed, tested, and repeated. That's what we consider to be science. And there's no evidence of evolution ever happening in the natural world. No one's observed it, so therefore it's ruled out as scientific altogether already. And again, there's never been a case where a species has had new information to become another one. It just doesn't happen. Everything, just as the Bible says, has always produces after its own kind. Now again, you can get different kinds of, or different, you get variations within a species, but a species can't produce a different species or become another species. It's just absurd. It doesn't happen. Because again, you would need new information, and there's no way for a creature to get new information to become something different. It's just stupid. That's right, I said it. It's stupid. It's not science, it's science fiction. And again, sorry, I'm not trying to make my camera do that toggle. But yeah, and again, I make no apologies for saying that evolution is stupid. I'm not saying evolutionists are stupid, and to go back to my previous video, I'm not saying atheists are, well, I guess the atheists are kind of stupid. It's stupid to believe that there's no God. Psalmist calls them fools. Psalm 14:1, that the fool says in his heart there is no God. Paul says in Romans that God's invisible attributes are clearly seen and demonstrated in creation, which is also true. So if you look around the natural world and think that no one put it together, then I would say you're lacking intelligence. You're an idiot. And if you think that evolution is true, then I wouldn't say you're an idiot, but you lack critical thinking skills at the very least. And if you believe in evolution, if you really believe that a creature can somehow obtain new information and become another creature, then I don't know what to tell you other than that. That's just science fiction. It's not science. And I'll just leave it at that. Peace out, brother out.